Hey guys, in this episode we're going to talk about Unfriended, the dark web. We're going to talk about the performances by the actors, the plotline itself, and how it compares to the first film. This is episode 60 of the Reel-ists podcast. Welcome back, Team Reel-ists. This is Donnie.
And Oscar.
And we have our producer, Ruben. Hello, Ruben says. And you are listening to the Reel-ists podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a very, very special episode for you guys today. But before we get into that, just want to go over a couple of things. First of all, thank you to our listeners who continue to listen to us, continue to spread the word about the Reel-ists podcast. We really do appreciate it.
Yes, we got a comment on our podcast on iTunes, so that's exciting. Let's be honest.
You were really excited.
I was. Look, I said we appreciate feedback, so there was a comment.
I would have covered it, Oscar. Let me get there.
Oh my god.
I didn't mean to steal
I was trying
thunder.
to steal my thunder.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't say
Really
that.
wanted to beat you to it.
I didn't say I didn't say that. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I said YouTube. I didn't say the other one. I said YouTube. So go ahead, Donnie. What did we find out?
Oh my, that was so funny. Oh man, no, thank you, thank you. I'm crying right now. I'm sorry. Thank you, Oscar.
I think we're gonna have to cut and just do a new take. Thanks for the laugh, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. We got a little carried away there. I got a little carried away there.
Thank you.
Lie. But yes, thank you guys for tuning in, for listening. Our comment that we got on iTunes was really great, and we really appreciate it. And we're always, ready to get more comments. So you guys, anytime, anywhere, any place.
Yes,
you want to leave us a
absolutely.
comment on iTunes, on YouTube, anywhere you want.
Yes.
And on any of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're at Team Reel-ists, Team Reel-ists. Guys, always feel free to drop us a comment, leave us a rating. Any feedback, any feedback we get at all is greatly appreciated. So, yeah, I think other than that, I think we're pretty much set to jump into our episode, right?
I mean, is there someone joining us?
Oh, I think there is.
You think?
Yeah, there's somebody sitting next to me. I don't really know who they are. They just pulled up a chair and decided they wanted to come. Who are you?
Your sister. God.
So rude.
Guys, we have my little sister Angel here for today's episode.
Hello.
Hello, Angel. What's your name? Oh, you already said your name. What are you doing? What's your name? Where are you from?
Thank you for calling.
My sister is visiting me for the week, and she came and she saw Unfriended with us. So she is going to be on this episode, which is awesome. It's been a while since we've had a guest.
It has.
A ghost. A ghost. I was going to say a guest. It's been a while since we've had a guest.
A
host.
special
A
guest,
host,
yes.
Yeah, whatever you say. Special guest.
Last
yes.
one we had was Daniel from
That was right back in May
yeah.
for Solo and for our
Oh,
conversation
yes,
or something
yes.
like that. So
Movie
awesome.
franchises, yes.
Well, thank you so much, little sister, for joining us. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Unfriended, the dark web, which
Dun,
is
dun,
a
dun.
sequel to the first film,
Unfriended.
Unfriended. So, Angel, since you're our special guest, I'll throw this to you. What were your initial thoughts of the film? Can be good, can be bad, anything. Just what'd you think?
Honesty, yes.
Yeah, be honest.
I was kind of in the middle. I liked it, but it wasn't super impressive. Like,
Dang.
no, the element of
God, we didn't mean to be honest.
the use of
She didn't mean that, guys.
the use of the internet was interesting because it's you are, I don't know, using a computer, and I don't know, it's believable, but it's kind of
It's
Didn't do much for you.
it is believable in the sense of the internet can destroy you if someone really wants to, and you put up online, even like if you just do like a lot of Facebook posts, like someone can find a way to twist it and put a negative light to your profile or do something. You can hack into it, make you say bad things that you probably would never say. So there is that reality horror of like what happens online. So yeah, that definitely was presented in this film. I think that was really well done. Obviously the whole like inner circle, and there's these people that can do almost anything to kill you, like find a way to kill you in that kind of regards, was a little bit of the unrealistic that you probably wouldn't think too much of it happening in real life, but definitely for sure, like you hacking into someone's laptop, going into their Facebook profile, those things were definitely realistic in that manner. Putting in the realistic stamp already.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so I thought that it was, and I kind of said this on my quick review, but I mean, it was pretty much like, okay, it was like the first one in the sense that everything took place from the point of view of the laptop,
Yes.
looking at a laptop.
Correct.
And in the sense that one by one, people started getting killed off. Spoiler alert if we didn't do it already. There are going to be spoilers in this episode. So one by one, people started getting killed off. It was different in the sense that the first one was more of like a supernatural being killing
Yes,
you.
right.
And this one, it was actual people killing you. So there wasn't like that supernatural aspect, like horror, like that horror aspect of it. It wasn't
Yes.
like a ghost, wreaking havoc on everyone. It was
A
this
realistic
group of
terror,
people,
yeah.
a realistic, group of people. After finding this is the synopsis. After finding a laptop, a young man goes online to play a game with 5 of his good friends. He shows them a mysterious folder that plays disturbing videos of people who appear to be in danger. Then they receive an anonymous message that tells them they will all die if they disconnect or call the police. The planned night of fun quickly turns deadly as each user becomes the target of something sinister, while the others watch helplessly in terror.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. So yeah, so that's what it was, and I mean what it's marketed as and what you get in the trailer. It's pretty much what you're gonna get in the film.
Yeah. You absolutely get you going into it. If you've seen the first one and you have that awareness, or even if you're just familiar with what the first one was, you do get that exact same kind of feel and vibe and plot line into that degree. But yeah, I really did enjoy this one more than the first one, because the first one was more of trying to find ways to scare you through a laptop, and this one was more of like how scary the web can be, hence like dark web. Like it can be dark, like
It's like more. It made it more of like a realistic thing, like
Yeah.
kind of a warning.
right.
Like be careful what you can get, like what you get yourself into,
Right.
because it can get dangerous.
Don't buy a used laptop.
Seriously, for real. Just buy a new.
Buy a new. If you can't afford a new one, stick with what you got. Or at least, if you're going to buy a used one, buy it from a family friend or someone you obviously know that had it, rather than like, oh, just gone on Craigslist. I just randomly saw no one was taking it, so I grabbed it. So yeah, that regard, what was the group called? The Charon? Or was it Sharon? Charon? I don't know. Something like that.
Do you remember?
It was like Cheron. Something like that.
Yeah, Sharon.
Sharon.
That sounds weird though. When we say Sharon.
Sharon.
Yeah, no, for real. And I mean, yeah, in that aspect, I feel like it made this film more interesting because it wasn't like, oh, we're just trying to give you like jump scares with this like ghost.
Right, exactly.
It was like, it was more of like a mental scare, a psychological. There you go. Great job. Say that again. Say it again.
No, like
Say it louder.
Oh, it was like psychological scaring and more believable because we all use the internet, whereas like the first one, maybe someone might not believe it so much because they don't believe like in supernatural stuff or ghosts.
True.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So it made it more scary to me than the first one. So I like that.
And I feel like for the first one, the actors to have the challenge of having to perform through a computer screen. I'm assuming it's through a computer screen. Maybe not. Maybe they actually did record on a regular camera and just use like, special effects to put it on.
To make it look like it was on a computer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
because it wasn't like high definition, like 4K of these cameras. So kind of that would.
and I mean, it had like a little, I don't know. Did it have any like, like sometimes when you video chat, there's lag or whatever.
Not entirely, no. It didn't have like a lag where the only time there was a lag was when the quote unquote like
when it would like kind of
circle members,
Fritz, whatever,
when they
like,
were in the presence or they were hacking.
Yeah. For sure. Speaking of the characters, I thought they did really great. Specifically, the main character, Jake Paul. That's not sorry, wrong guy.
Wow. Ouch.
That's strike 2. Sorry, Colin Woodell. Colin Woodell. He was the main guy, and I thought he did really, really good.
I believed in him.
Yeah, for sure. He was really bringing like the emotion. And it's like I'm always apprehensive about like focusing on performances when I see certain horror films, because I feel like some horror films are just so done mediocre.
Intentionally, yeah.
And a lot of the times the acting's not all the way there where it should be. So I'm always like, but and when he first appeared on screen, I was just thinking, the acting's probably not going to be that great. But he did really, really good. As we progressed through the film, and as he was like, scared and panicked and trying to scream at all his other people, like, listen to me, trying to tell them, to warn them and stuff. Like, I really believe
his love for his girlfriend, his care for his friends, and even his anxiety and stress, like, all portrayed through the screen really well. And the thing that I say is more impressive is that he did this unconventionally. So he wasn't like, a few feet away standing in a normal position. He was like leaning towards a computer screen in that manner. So that's even harder, that you're like in a specific position and you have to pretend you're Skyping with friends and giving these emotions. I feel like that is a tough challenge to do compared to a standard like, oh, I'm interacting with you in person. Our scene is in person and we're filming a scene, versus like I have to pretend I'm seeing you through a screen, and you're I don't know if they did an actual Skype call. That would probably be curious to see like the behind the scenes, but to like know that you have a screen in front of you and you're supposed to react to what's happening on that screen, but the screen might be black the entire time. Like though that kind of,
or it's like when actors have to do like CGI, or when
exactly,
it's like,
yes,
they have to pretend that they're running from a monster that's not really there, but they have to really, really sell it. Like, kind of like that.
But a lot of those are physical like performances, so it helps. So you're just physically, you could show that you're scared. This one, it's all like you had to mainly show your face for each of these actors. So like you couldn't like compare it to like a ghost in your room. Like you just say, the other scene is the ghost enters in your room and you're scared. That one you could easily show you're frightened by covering your face or trying to not look at it. And this one, you really like had to show like your face the entire time of showing. I mean, there was like times where they looked away or they stood up or whatever, but it was a tough challenge to do that, even for the first one. Like both of those, it was a nice, interesting way to show like a unique performance.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And I definitely agree. He definitely brought that emotional core that made us interested in the friends just as much as him.
Yeah, for sure. And then I thought it was interesting too, like his whole, like his girlfriend was like deaf. And that whole, I don't know, like, I was just trying to think, how would it have changed the story if she was not deaf? Because I was like, why?
Based on his description, he got this laptop because his older one wasn't up to date for him to create this app that he wanted to, or the software to be able to communicate with her. Mm-hmm. So it is a little plot convenience that it was just, that's why he got a
new laptop.
And then there was also the horror factors of like, she can't hear, but the guy's in the room, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So there was like, it was kind of that like double-edged sword where they were trying to show one, diversity in that sense that, that would be a real situation when someone's trying to communicate with someone through Skype and, you have to do sign language. But yeah, it was definitely nice to see that change, even though it was used both in a cliche way, but still in a creative way, because that was a very interesting app that he created. I don't know if there's anything close to that in real life. I didn't look, but it was a very interesting. Like,
I would assume there would be, unless
Well, because the thing is, I could see like you typing in words and then like an automated like animated version of what you want to say shows up.
Yeah.
But this one was like you sign it yourself, it saves it, so when you use the word, it was really creative.
Yeah. And a lot to go through. I mean, yeah, he loved her, but I'm like, a lot to go, like a lot to do for someone you love. Like it was nice. I don't know. That was cool.
That was.
Another person that was in this film that I kind of don't know how to feel about it is Betty Gabriel, who played Nari.
Yes.
And you and I kind of talked about it because we've seen her in Get Out. We just saw her in Upgrade, and we loved Upgrade, one of our favorite movies of 2018 so far. One of them, I'd say. And we thought she was great. So it kind of seemed like, and maybe I don't know if we'd have to look at like the production schedule. Maybe she filmed this one before she did Upgrade, and the Upgrade was just released first, or I don't know. But it kind of seemed like
this one
kind of felt like she took a step back with this role because. Those were two solid performances that she gave, and in this one, it was kind of like anybody, I feel like, could have played Nari.
Right, and I will say, I don't know if it's necessarily the script that didn't give her development, because again, it becomes tough where you have to create a singular story, meaning there's no breaks, there's no like, I decompressed, or I need to go set up for my emotional scene. Like everything was as live as you possibly could in that manner that it's, you can't go from like. Oh, I'm scared to the next scene where, I'm happy because, it's the next day. That kind of thing that normal horror films do. Like, you have that one night when everyone's scared, and then the next day you're kind of calm because it's the morning. You're not scared. The ghost is gone or whatever. You couldn't do that in this story. This one's all, like, one night. So
yeah,
it did limit, like, how you can feel in that real time. But we just had the main actor who was able to convey emotion. And I don't know, I feel like maybe the script didn't give enough for her to know how her character should feel, rather than loving her girlfriend, her fiance, yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely kind of a surprise to see, like, when did this get filmed? Because I could also see it getting filmed early in advance, like before she did the other roles, but because of the way it has to be produced, it does take a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, but yeah, it was definitely a surprise. But a disappointed surprise,
Just a little bit, but you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I like how the characters are kind of diverse in the sense that, like, one's deaf, one, like, their races, their sexualities, just their life situations and stuff like that.
Very realistic, yeah.
Yeah, very, very current, very modern, very today, so that was great.
And they were all over the world-ish.
Right, yeah, one guy was in London, right?
Yeah. That was it. Everyone else was in proximity.
So they were all in the U.S. and then one guy was in London, but... it's okay. We're covering two different time zones.
Can we just briefly talk about how we wouldn't? At least we said me and you would not do like a Skype game night. Ruben, would you do a Skype game night? Like you're talking, like video chatting, but you're playing a game with people.
Like
it just feels like you don't.
Did they do that?
Yeah, in the movie they did that.
Like they were playing Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah,
over
Skype. Via Skype. So like, would you do that?
Would you play a game?
Any game?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's weird, though.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's just,
okay, so Ruben said maybe. Angel, you're 10 years younger than most of us. So would you do that with your friends? Would you guys, like, do a game night over Skype or something?
Yeah.
Or, like, a Skype hangout or something?
Yeah, if I had, like, friends on the internet that I was close to. I'm curious as to, like, how they met, all of them. If they knew each other and now they're just, like, far apart or something.
Oh, yeah. But they didn't say if it was like a high school classmate. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I would do it. I think I think it's believable, but it's just maybe because you guys like knew each other in high school and stuff. Like,
I'm a traditional.
Yeah.
Or the older generation.
Well, because I mean, I can see like playing the same game over Wi-Fi, like using
like on
Nintendo,
Xbox.
Yeah, I can see that absolutely.
Yeah.
But
using a mic and stuff.
Right, but seeing each other and like that's the whole point. Like I have to stare at you, you have to stare at me.
Like I have to hold my cards up, and, or whatever.
Because Daniel was saying that he did like online gaming, and there was like a video.
You have the headset,
but you're not. Yeah, you're focusing on the game,
and you have
screen.
like the little corner window of that person. But yeah, you guys are looking collectively, or you guys are both looking on your ends at a board game, simulation or whatever.
Whatever. Yes, exactly.
But like, I couldn't imagine me just Skyping with you and Ruben and being like, all right, guys, guess who tonight, or Trouble, or Yahtzee, or whatever. I don't know how that would even work, but I don't know. But maybe people do it, Matt.
I'm good with
2018.
I'm good with the games where I'll take my turn and I send it to you and you have to take your turn.
Seriously,
like those make sense, but. Yeah.
So I started last night. I was thinking about this too as I was falling asleep, but like because the plot itself was basically this guy got this laptop, right, and it belonged to this person who belonged to a Sharon, basically a group of people who
get like a lot of Bitcoin money for doing like
Bitcoin exchanges on the dark web for going and like killing people, pretty much.
Kidnapping
and basically
odd experimentation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and killing people in brutal ways, and it's very dark and sick. But I mean, I guess it's not that. We know there is a. Oh shoot! Oh my god! Sorry, the mic fell, guys. just
Strike 3.
Just a mess tonight.
So this is Donald's last performance with us.
I'm sorry. I swear I wasn't drinking before this.
Is your sister throwing you off? It's like
okay. Where was I? What was I saying? That's what I was saying. I was saying I do. Like, we all know there's a dark web, but it just got me thinking about, like, you know, how dark does the dark web get? I mean, because, like, we don't know. You hear the phrase the dark web, and you hear of stories like, oh, I bought a kidney on the dark web, or, you know, this and that. But it's like, how dark does it actually get, do you think? Like, do you think it really gets like that, where, like, people are, like, paying to, you know, watch people get murdered? Like, do you think
I can see it like that, though.
Ruben, you think it gets that dark?
Yeah, it can get dark if you put yourself in the wrong website, or you know, talk to the wrong person. It can get.
I think if you look for it, you'll find it.
Yes.
Ruben says if you look for it, you'll find it.
Just stick to, you know, your favorite sites: TMZ, comic book movie, whatever,
Twitter,
YouTube,
Facebook,
right?
Instagram.
Don't go beyond that. That's our life tip.
Seriously,
Stick to what you know.
Wikipedia. Angel, you think it gets that dark too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I kind of felt paranoid.
We need to put
after
content.
the
We need to
movie.
put content blockers on your stuff. I don't want you falling into
The one
wrong
that
website.
the one thing that they showed, and that it's kind of really disturbing, was the camera part, where you actually, like, they can hack into your camera and see, and they can make sure you, like, the status icon is not on.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of people that do cover their cameras on their
I have a
laptops.
piece of tape on my laptop camera.
I don't. I just don't use it enough to, like, I don't leave it open. Like, if I'm not using
I don't know. As soon as I heard that, I got paranoid. This was like years ago. Like, I've been doing it for years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What were you telling me earlier?
I mean, they're still hacked into your computer, so whatever you're seeing on screen, they can see.
But they just won't see
your face.
Unless
you put a thin piece of paper. Like,
I know, it's like really a clear piece of tape, thinking I'm gonna block the camera with it. What did you tell me earlier?
Okay, so I left the theater like a little paranoid at night because I know, like, people can hack into webcams, and also, like, you know, the whole NSA thing where they can look through your webcams and
on your phones
anything
too.
like you want.
And on your phones, on some smart TVs.
Yeah.
So yeah, like,
so they're always watching. I don't know. I'm not doing anything, like, important.
Right. To me either. Like, to me.
But I know a lot of people are just like, it doesn't matter. It's still my privacy, and I get it. And
absolutely, I agree.
But I don't know. It's just a crazy concept. I mean, if anything, I walked away with just like
the dark web.
Yes.
yeah, stay away from the dark web.
Seriously, don't go looking for stuff
Right.
you shouldn't be looking for. Pretty much.
And there's like two sides of the dark web, in the sense of what you put online doesn't necessarily come off, so you can delete it. You may send an email of, you know, a prank you may have done, and if the prank goes south and you try to take it down, those things, that's dark too. Like, it's not just going.
It doesn't have to be that extreme. Like,
Right.
we're watching people get murdered. It can be, you know,
Yes.
posting an embarrassing video of someone.
Or if you ranted and you went on Twitter and you said the wrong thing, as we can see, people lose their jobs.
People lose their
We have
careers.
Roseanne and we have James Gunn, so it's I think, like,
You just have to be so careful
online, yes.
online, like, in every. Like, you
And-
just have
but
to
the
be
thing is too is,
careful.
like, if you go to a store and they have something you want on sale, but it's not Amazon or it's not eBay, it's not a common store, like, how much are you gonna risk it to buy it?
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to find the perfect gift for someone and you see it's on, it's the right price, and it's just like, and they try to. I mean, there's a lot of safe precautions. You have a lot of certified online retailer and all those kinds of things. You have the security locks on the top of the browser to let you know if it's a secure website and all that stuff. But still a risk.
Still a risk every time. So just be careful. Okay, little sister.
Okay. Oh, not the listeners. Listeners, don't worry.
Well, listeners, you guys be careful too. But sorry, I'm staring at my little sister right now, so I'm making sure she's careful.
Ruben, don't worry about yourself. You post however you need to. It's just my sister that needs to be.
Oh man. All right. So, any particular scene that stood out to you guys?
It was like moving kind of at the end, where the main character, what's his name?
Matthias.
Yes,
Matthias. Yeah,
Matthias.
he got like buried in the ground. They like tricked him, and then his girlfriend showed up at the site where he's buried because they were supposed to meet there, and he was trying to contact her, and it was just they were blocking him from changing his text and everything, and they were blurring out his mouth so that she couldn't see what he was saying. So that was kind of a interesting scene.
You said it was moving.
Yeah, because it was sad.
It emotionally moved you.
No, not like.
It was so inspiring.
No, not like
So
inspired.
transformative.
Shut up. No, it was just sad. Like, it was an intense scene.
It's one of those like horror moments where you're just like, that sucks.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
for real. I
Yeah,
was the same.
just-
I was like, damn.
Like, you just like, at that point, just do like whatever you can to try to live, but it's a tough spot. It's a low chance.
It just leaves you on such a dire, like, bleak, hurt, like, just, like, there's nothing you can do. Like, he's buried
That's
underground.
the true horror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and buried alive and buried
Buried
underground. And his, like,
His one contact.
his one person that could save him is standing literally right above him, and she can't communicate.
Well,
They can't.
could he not call anyone else? Or were they going to block? I'm assuming
They
they would
probably would have blocked it.
Yeah.
If they were doing all that, blurring
Yeah,
out
they
his
would
mouth
have.
and
They would have
changing
blocked
his text, they would have blocked that. So it's like, it just sucks.
it. It does. I feel like that's one where that comes to like the unrealistic side of it. It's like, yes, the being buried alive is terrifying, but to the point where you like had an opportunity to communicate with someone and they intentionally sabotaged it so you can't communicate. I don't know. I don't know if it can go that far. I believe someone can do that. I just don't believe someone can do that that quickly without like, I feel like they need to get to his phone somehow. Like they have to put in an encryption first and that has to download or something,
Yeah, something could have went wrong to derail their plans or something.
True. Yeah. And then again, I will say to counter, we did have a break between like him getting hit and then like her arriving. So maybe they did.
Maybe they did all of that in
Yeah.
that small amount of time.
My scene though, I will say my scene was the second friend, or was it third friend? Actually, the second and third friend that died. I don't know their names right now, so I'm just gonna say the second and third friend that died.
Okay.
Very interesting ways of how they were killed. The second one being where his content that he put online, his like YouTube channel, how they took out like snippets of it to make it seem like a threat, and how it made it look like he was like a terrorist, and so the police arrived, and how he was innocent. He was really like I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just here. I'll come to you, whatever. And then they do it again. They hack into his computer, and then they like get like shotgun sounds, and makes it like he's trying to shoot them, and so the cops fire back. And then the third friend who had to choose between her fiance or her mom. That one was a tough one.
Oh my gosh.
Although I'm really confused at why she I know it was a tough decision, but you should have at least picked one.
Yeah.
Like, but then again, there's that. Would they even have let the other one live? Like, she could have been like, Mom! And so they kill their fiance, but then yet they go kill the mom. So it would have been like, and then they kill her too. Her death was the one that was like the least, like they just went in and killed her.
Yeah.
Everyone else had like this dramatic, one got hung, one got, shot by the cops.
And that was crazy.
One got pushed
too.
off
And
the building.
Oh, I hate it when the guy that got hung, and then they made it seem like he left a suicide note saying, "I'm sorry, we did," or something like.
Yeah.
Basically blaming, like saying we all did this
And we all
collectively.
felt like guilty. Well, yeah.
That was, I mean, if I had to pick it's not my favorite scene, but the most memorable scene that like really just got me like, oh my, like blew my mind because it was so just messed up was that scene. I think when, like I said, when they hung him and then they made it seem basically leaving a note from him saying that him and all his friends did all this, together and it was planned out from the beginning. It just sucks. It just sucks.
It does. Absolutely.
So if you want to go be depressed, then
Oh my gosh.
check out this film.
I mean, if you want to get a good like
No.
modern day horror.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, we all, like, you and me and Danny, we all went last night, and, you know, it was like, it's a fun film to go watch with friends, you know, like a horror popcorn flick type of film. Like,
Yes.
So I think, you know.
With that subtle hint, it's very similar to, like, you know, a stranger killing someone at their homes. You know, it's a possibility if you don't, you know, take care of your home, like if you don't lock your doors. You know, yeah. Exactly. If you don't be cautious. It's very similar to that regard. So it's nothing that will terrify you, but the thought of it is what would terrify you.
Yeah, it'll get you thinking how kind of it relates to your life and how,
right.
you know,
as
you're not careful.
As you pull out your phone and you go on, like, the web.
It just makes you think twice, I think,
yeah,
about things you do. All right, so final real scores. Oscar, I'll give you a little time to think about it. Oscar, what do you give this film?
I'm going to give this one a 3.0. I got new points now. I tried it without it on the last one. It didn't feel right, but a 3 out of 5. It does deliver in its execution of the story. You know, you're intrigued. You know, you have a lot of questions about it. The only thing that I have that's a problem with it is just a lot of the plot conveniences. A lot of I believe hackers can do a lot, but I just don't know if hackers can do all that in that timely manner. And it was like a lot of like questions too that weren't really addressed. Like, okay, I know that they framed them, but they made it seem like they intentionally framed these particular group of people. Mm-hmm. So does that mean like they were like auditioning? They were looking at other random Skype calls.
Like, how did they choose these people?
And then they took one of the kidnapped girls into one of the main character's house when he left. Like, what was the point of like I get like all that too convenient. So to me, it was kind of like, I know it's possible that someone can get your information, but I just don't know if it's possible that there's that many group of dark people nearby. Like, I feel like most of them would be spread out. Like, you have one in LA, but then you have one in Georgia. So the one in LA can't do everything. So how is the one, you know, in Georgia flying all the way to London? And like, you know, that kind of things, which is like kind of be. And then I also didn't like the whole like cameras stuttering every time their presence was around. I got that, you know, what they were trying to go for.
Yeah,
but it was annoying.
Signifies that the bad guy's on screen.
Yeah, but it was annoying.
Yeah, it was.
It was
like, we needed it every single time.
Like,
and it was doing it for like, it wasn't like a quick thing. It was like,
yeah,
you know, a few moments too much.
Yes, but you know, I feel like given what the story was and given the performances, it is entertaining. I think, you know, it's not one of the worst films. It's definitely one that spooks you with the thought more so than the actual like movie, what it presented on screen. So yeah, I would say this one as a horror film, it was a good one. I definitely would recommend it for a good night of you know, a little fun, if you want to say kind of fun, that's where you speak. But
yeah.
3 out of 5.
It kind of even reminded me of like VHS too.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You saw it? Yeah, you did see it, huh? Yeah, I was getting VHS vibes from it too.
Absolutely, so. It felt like an episode of VHS, an extended episode.
Yeah, I know, right?
Of VHS.
Do you want me to go, or do you want to? You know what you're gonna give it? It's gonna be out of 5. So, do you want to go?
Yeah.
All right. You can do like 1.5, 2 point. You can do 0.5s too. So, Angel, what's your final real score for this film?
I guess 2.5.
Out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like unbelievable.
I have a little critic over here.
It was
Dang.
Can't talk.
What kind of movies do you give?
Unbelievable in the sense that like how fast the hackers, the Sharon people, they like traveled or something, like to kill everybody one by one. And it did remind me of Black Mirror, kind of, the show.
Yes.
Yeah, in the sense that it's like internet horror, modern day kind of horror. Yeah. And but it was believable too in the sense of the use of internet and everybody's networking. But I didn't really get how they hunted everybody and like framed people in that. It
was too perfectly like thought out for the bad guy. Not saying like the plot was not well written. That it's one of those things where like, yes, it's a good plot because they thought about it, like they thought of how to frame them. But for these characters to have come up with that in just like this amount of time is where you question it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Great answer. All right, I'm going to go next because I'm the last one to go. I'm agreeing with you, little sister. I'm also going to give it a 2.5 out of 5 because for a lot of the reasons we talked about, I feel like there were still a lot of unanswered questions How they specifically chose these 5 people, I'm not sure. And here's another reason. I know this is a horror film and it's a short horror film, and like we can't go into everybody's like backstory. We can't get a prequel with everyone to see how they got to where they're at now. But there was still a lot of like questions about like how do all these people know each other? You guys had mentioned it. Were they high school friends? Do they normally is this like regular? Like, oh, we always do game nights over Skype. I just had a lot of questions that I wanted some clarity on. Also, a lot of plot conveniences in terms of the bad guys, the Sharon members or whatever, and how like basically everything went in their favor and they were able to like kill everybody, and and everything just was smooth and timely, and they were able to do it without getting caught, without leaving any trace for people to catch them. So a lot of those things I was just like, I will say I really did like the aspect that it wasn't like a ghost haunting them on the web, but it was a group of people, and I think it kind of maybe unknowingly tells like just gives you like an important warning, just be careful what you do on the web. So I appreciate those things, and I definitely think it's an improvement from the first film. I personally like this one better than the first one, but for some of those other reasons I said, I will give it a 2.5 out of 5. Wasn't a terrible film, wasn't the worst film I've seen, but I definitely could have been improved on. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
So
I was generous.
Yeah, you're pretty. I mean, that's fine. I feel like I'm pretty generous sometimes. I feel like I'm generous a lot too,
but you gotta show.
We gotta switch it up.
Yeah.
I can be firm too. I can be stern and a harsh critic.
Here, all the studios are like, okay, so we're not inviting him to our movies.
All right,
because
see,
he may
he was just about to get the invite.
We're just gonna get him the exclusive screening to all the movies he wants to see. But if he's gonna be honest,
if he wants to go that route, then maybe we shouldn't.
I hear there's other podcasts. Clearly, he said there's others in the street.
They didn't hear that.
That was off. That was off the camera.
That was off there. Don't bring that into this episode. But anyways, yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. We want to know your thoughts. Let us know what you thought about Unfriended, the dark web. I don't know why I keep saying it like that.
Making it sound like it's recorded. Like Ruben called you and he was like, hey, can you quickly say the title?
Okay, I didn't say it one more time. But no, yeah, let us know what you thought. If you like this one better than the first one, or if you like the first one more. Any thoughts, anything about the film, let us know. We're here to listen.
Always.
Remember, you can check us out on everywhere podcasts are available.
Yes.
And you can always leave us comments on our social media. One more time, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Team Reel-ists. We're here. We're ready. We want to hear from you.
Let's go.
Thank you so much to my little sister for being a guest on our episode. What'd you think?
How was it?
It was great.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come back for more?
You're going to start listening to every episode?
Yes.
Every single episode? And tell all your friends about us?
Yeah.
About the Reel-ists podcast? Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome.
Have you already told your friends about us?
No.
Okay.
She's like, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't. I'm gonna keep it real.
She's like, you guys don't get enough downloads for me to mention you guys.
We'll start spreading the word, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for being on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks, guys. And girls.
Everyone in between.